So with the release of Maleficent, Mistress Evil on Friday, I thought let's just go back and rank all of the Disney live action remakes since 2010. We've got 11 here, so let's go. Just one thing before I get started, I got a ranking of all the Disney Renaissance movies as well as the Silver Age movies in my channel. And coming next month, when Frozen 2 comes out, I'll be reviewing Frozen 2, possibly Frozen 1, and then I'll be ranking all of the Disney Revival Age. So if you want to see that kind of stuff, consider clicking that subscribe button so you can see that kind of stuff. So, with all that said, let's get started with the ranking. And coming in at number 11, I have Alice Through the Looking Glass. Now, this movie I've seen a handful of times now. As you can see, I do have the Blu-ray, but the only reason I have this Blu-ray is because it was $150 and I have Alice in Wonderland. I'm like, okay, I've got one, let's just get two. It's so cheap, I'll get it. I've only watched it once on Blu-ray. I've seen it once in cinema. I think I watched it one afternoon on Netflix because I was bored. But every single time I watch this movie, I hate it even more. It's just the idea of this movie is a time travel movie, but they don't nothing wrong with it. They don't actually really do anything with the time travel. We see a small bit of it, but not a lot of it. Johnny Depp was he was such a main part of the first movie. So I said, oh, let's just make him the main character and kind of sideline Alice. Like, as you can see in here, Alice is like in the third layer in this poster, and then Johnny Depp's Mad Hatter is in the front. Like, so that just shows how prominent he was in this movie. Even though I never really liked Johnny Depp as Mad Hatter, but I don't think anyone really did. But I don't know why they decided. I think it was because it was Johnny Depp decided to put him more in the forefront. But he's meant to be a mad, crazy man, but he's very depressed in this movie. You've got I always forget her name. The Red Queen, I think her name is, but her and her sister, the chemistry they have, it's not very there. It's very lazy in this movie. You don't believe any of the relationships. She thinks she's entitled to everything, even though there's chances that she's not. This movie, it's not very rewatchable. It's one I don't think I ever will watch it again unless I'm very bored. But if you haven't seen this movie, I think, and you've seen the first one and you do enjoy it, I would not recommend you watching it. Just leave the first one as it is. And coming in at number 10, I've got Dumbo 2019. Now, Dumbo, I was never a movie I was very excited about. I am a major fan of the first movie, but when it came to this remake, I didn't really care. They got Tim Burton to direct it, but they didn't really make it feel like a Tim Burton movie. Until I think Michael Keaton comes in, which is probably about halfway through the movie. That's when it starts to feel like a Tim Burton movie, but before that, it doesn't feel like it at all. Dumbo himself is very much sidelined in this movie to kind of focus on the kids a lot more. You get Timothy the mouse isn't in it. He's got a little tiny scene, like if you blink and you miss it kind of scene. The crows, which were my favourite part about the original, aren't in it at all. Dumbo's famous song isn't really in it. He's got the tune of it is in the background, but it's not there at all. As well, as I said, when Michael Keaton comes into the movie, it does start to feel like a Tim Burton movie, and that's all the new part of the Dumbo remake. But as well, I don't really see the point in all this because it's not very enjoyable. The first half is a lot better than the second half because when the new Tim Burton stuff comes in, it's not very enjoyable. It's not dark, but it's a lot darker than a Dumbo movie should be. Like, the movie comes in at, I think it's close, I think it's 140, 150. The original movie is just past an hour long, so the second half is all new stuff. I don't find it enjoyable. The first half, even though I don't really like that part either, I still do find it a lot more enjoyable than the second half. But Danny DeVito in this movie is very good for what he does, but it doesn't really give him a lot. And I can't remember his name now, but the guy he's in the first Fantastic Beasts movie, and he plays Johnny Depp's character. He's okay for what they give him, but as well, they don't give him a lot. And then coming in at number 9, I have The Lion King of 2019 as well. I don't like this movie at all. I thought, before the movie came out, they were putting all the trailers, I'm like, okay, it looks good. It looks the exact same, but it looks good. But then they started saying, this is not a shot-for-shot remake. But this movie is a shot-for-shot remake. There's very few scenes that were added in. Like, there's like kind of stupid scenes added in. Like, you know, in the anime version when Simba's fur gets to Rafiki, they extend that scene for about a minute and a half unnecessarily. It makes sense that this is kind of stuff that would do just to get there, but you literally see the fur being attached to shit. Like, that's like, why did we have to see that? And as well, the scene at the start when Scar gets the mouse and he goes to eat for dinner, we see his entire life of that day going to right before he gets the Scar. Like, what is the point in seeing that? The songs as well. Hakuna Matata is the only actually song I do like in this movie. Like, Can You Feel the Love Tonight doesn't feel like it's part of this movie. It feels like kind of a cover the way like Zayn's version of A Whole New World for Aladdin felt. So that didn't feel good. As well, the voice acting was okay. It didn't really feel like the lines were talking. It did feel like it was a National Geographic episode and it was just people talking over it as the mouths were moving for the lines, because the emotion wasn't there either. So like the scene when Mufasa dies, like if you watch the side by side comparison of the one of the animated version, you see the shock and the horror and the fear and the everything. You feel it all in Simba's face. But in this movie, you don't see anything. You just kind of see a line with his mouth slightly opening, and a voice coming in out of nowhere. So the emotion wasn't there at all. The spectacle, it didn't really get anything out of this movie. I was saying to my sister and my brother, who were getting annoyed at me for, I said, there's no point in this movie. What's the point? They go, oh, there was a point. I'm like, how? And they go, it looks amazing. Like, yeah, it looks amazing, but it's the exact same movie. So what's the point in putting so much money in it? I know this is now the 7th highest grossing movie ever made, so they're going to make a sequel. They think this is a massive hit, and I think it was enjoyable to watch it the first time just to see the CGI and see what they're able to do. But I don't think I'll watch it a second time. I have no ambition to watch it a second time. I thought it was an easy cash grab for the studio, but there is enjoyment to have. Just hearing, like, I did like Timon and Pumbaa. They were funny. They knew elements to it. But that's the only thing I can say I enjoyed, because Timon and Pumbaa and then just the spectacle of actually looking at this movie. I was not a massive fan of this movie. When it comes to Maleficent of 2014, as I said in my review of the second movie, I like this movie a lot less as it goes on. I think I've seen it 3 or 4 times, and every time I watch it, I like it even less. Like the last time I watched it with my girlfriend, she was really enjoying it. I was kind of on my phone because I didn't really care enough to watch this movie. It does have enjoyable moments to it though, but making Maleficent, who is one of the biggest bads of the Disney animated universe, making her kind of an anti-hero, I did not like at all. I thought Angelina Jolie was very good in it. I thought Sleeping Beauty herself, Aurora, Ellie Fanning, I think her name was, I wasn't a massive fan of her. The 3 fairies I found to be very irritating in this movie, where they didn't really annoy me in the original animated movie. Prince Philip as well is barely in this movie. I thought the actual king, like Aurora's dad, I thought was okay. I didn't think he was any standout as well. But I think everything they added into this movie I didn't like. Everything they kind of brought from the anime movie I did like. But there's just not a lot to enjoy in this movie. I don't think I would watch it again. Unless they do a third one, I don't think I'll watch this again. But I don't know if they'll do a third one. I don't know how much money this sequel is making so far. I don't know. I think my favourite thing about this movie was Lana Del Rey's song of Once Upon a Dream. I think that's the best part about this movie. And I was surprised they didn't even use it in the sequel. And then coming out at number 7 is our newest addition to the Disney live action remakes, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Now, as I said in my review, the third act of this movie was by far the best of the entire movie. The first 2 acts was very slow. Angelina Jolie, just as she was in the first movie, is very good, if not better, in this movie. Michelle Pfeiffer was a brilliant addition to the cast. I still haven't googled his name, but the guy who's also in Doctor Strange and The Lion King, very good in this movie. I didn't know he was in this movie until he appeared. I'm like, I know that guy. I was thinking about it all throughout the movie. Like, oh, that's who it is. As well, Sleeping Beauty and Prince Philip were kind of the weaker half of the cast. The King, who I actually didn't mention in my review, I enjoyed him for what he was. He wasn't in it a lot, but I enjoyed him. The 3 fairies weren't as annoying in this movie as they were in the first, but they weren't as prominent as they were in the first, which is why they probably weren't as annoying. The script as well, I thought, even though it is based in medieval, it was very overly dramatic. There was good parts to it, but it just kind of was very dramatic. But that third act by far saved this movie for me. And coming in at number 6, I've got Christopher Robin. Now, Christopher Robin was a major surprise to me. I was not really expecting anything. I haven't seen it since the cinema now. I do want to go back and watch it, because what I seen I really enjoyed. Because I've never really been a huge Winnie the Pooh fan, but my girlfriend is, so we said, okay, we'll go see it, because she really wanted to, and I actually really enjoyed it. I loved Ewan McGregor in the role as Christopher Robin. He was just so different and so unique, and I love Ewan McGregor, so it was kind of good to see him. Hayley Atwell as well, who she's not really in many stuff that isn't Marvel, but she's very good in this movie. I loved seeing her and Ewan McGregor together. All the characters were great, as in Pooh and all his friends. Tigger has always been my favourite, so he's very prominent in this movie as well, which was very enjoyable. I love the simplicity of this. Like, it wasn't a huge movie. I don't think it made a lot of money. I don't think we'll get a sequel, but for what it was, I really enjoyed it, and I do want to rewatch it. So I think this might be something like when I'm done recording, I'm going to go on Amazon and buy this Blu-ray, because I really did enjoy Christopher Robin, and I actually kind of talking about it now, I do want to go back and watch it again. Coming in at number 5, I've got Beauty and the Beast. The first time I watched this movie, I absolutely adored it. And as well, the music I really love. But as it goes on, I don't really like it as much. I still do really enjoy it, but kind of like The Lion King, it is very similar to the actual Disney anime movie. And the only reason that it's so high up, I think, is because I absolutely adore the animated version. But there's elements of this movie that I think are kind of bad. Like, why would they get Emma Watson for this movie? I think everyone goes, oh my gosh, she's perfect for the role. She isn't. She cannot sing, so why would they get someone, like, they wouldn't get someone who's a phenomenal singer for the role, but can't act. You got to get someone who's both. You can't just get someone who's good at singing but not good at acting. Like it doesn't work. You can't. I don't know why they got Emma Watson for the role, because like as soon as you hear the first song of the movie and she comes out singing, you can just hear the computers in the background editing everything that she's saying, and it just kind of doesn't really sound that good. Dan Stevens as the Beast, he's alright. He's not phenomenal. I don't really like the look of the Beast. I think the Beast looks so much better in the animated version than the live action version. He just looks very odd in the live action version. As well, when Belle leaves him in the castle, in the animated version, he roars, and that's probably the best thing. But in the live action movie, he breaks out in song. Like, I get it's a musical, but like, I think roaring was probably the best thing to show us emotion rather than just singing a big song. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who plays Gaston, I think it's Luke Evans. I'm not really sure, but he's phenomenal in the role. I actually love him in this role. I love his Gaston song with, I actually can't remember his name now either, but the guy also plays Olaf. I can't remember his name, Jesus. But him and Gaston have such good chemistry together. They're both really good. I love all the ornaments like Lumiere, Cogsworth and all them. They're all very good. They're not as good as they are in the live action version. Especially Lumiere, the way he looks doesn't really look as good as he did in the live action or in the anime version. He looks like a person with lights in his hand, opposed to the anime version where he just looked like a candle, which was absolutely fantastic. I do enjoy the movie. I don't really watch it as much, but if it tends to be like I want to sit down and watch Beauty and the Beast, I tend to just go for the animated version. Coming in at number 4, I do have Alice in Wonderland from 2010. That really started this entire reboot of live action remakes, because this movie made $1 billion in the box office. But I actually really love this movie. I think it's so uniquely different from the anime version, because that's what I think they should be. They shouldn't be shot for shot remakes like Beauty and the Beast and Lion King. They should have elements that are the same, but they should also have different stuff. That's what reboots are meant to be. They shouldn't be exactly the same, because then what's the point in doing a reboot? But the new elements they added to this movie, I actually really enjoyed. Apparently, it's meant to be. I've never read the book, but it's meant to be a lot closer to the book. The casting of Alice, I think she's okay. Johnny Depp is better in this movie than he was in the first. You've got all the other, like, you got Alan Rickman in this movie, who, of course, he plays a huge, I can't remember what it is now. I think it's a caterpillar. Cheshire Cat is great in this movie. All the characters are great in this movie. All the looks of them are very good. I think just the story itself is a lot bigger than the animated version. It's still bigger than the actual sequel, which when it's meant to be a sequel, it's meant to go bigger than the first. But this movie's a lot bigger. I enjoy it a lot more. It's when I bought my 4K TV, this is the first movie I put on the TV, and it was stunning, especially when the big huge Disney castle came up. I absolutely adored it. It's one I don't really watch as much, but every time I do put it on, I absolutely adore it, and I have so much fun when I'm watching it. And coming in at number 3, I've got Aladdin from 2019, and really, really, really unexpectedly, I really adored this movie. I enjoyed it from start to finish. I really enjoyed this movie. Will Smith was by far the best part about this movie. He was so likeable, charismatic, so much fun to watch on screen, and his 2 songs, Prince Ali and Friend Like Me, I really enjoyed. Naomi Scott as Jasmine gets a lot more to do than she ever did in the anime version, and I really like it because I always liked Jasmine. I always wanted to see her do more, because I know in the actual animated version, when she gets trapped in that hourglass, she's meant to get herself out of it, but I just couldn't animate it that way, so Aladdin had to do it, and apparently they hated doing that. So just having her to do a lot more in this movie, I did enjoy getting to see that. As well, Aladdin isn't as good as he is in the live act or the animated version. They don't give him, like, he's got the exact same stuff to do. He just can't sing. He can't sing, and he just doesn't really act it as well as everyone else. We kind of falls flat. Jafar, I'm not a massive fan of, but everything else I absolutely adore. I love the colours of this movie. I love how large it feels as well. Genie and Aladdin's their relationship, I really enjoy watching. I cannot wait to watch this movie again. It's just a matter of finding it on Blu-ray. And coming in at number 2, my runner-up, I've got Jungle Book from 2016. I actually really enjoy Jungle Book. It's not one I tend to put in a lot, but every time I do, I like it. Like, I really, really like it. I think the way they used the songs this movie was a lot better than some of the other ones, like The Lion King, where they actually kind of used all the songs. This one, they have got, like, I Want to Be Like You. It's so good. Like, he's not really singing it. He's just kind of talking it with a bit of tune in the background, as well as Bare Necessities, which is absolutely phenomenal. As well, this kid does an incredible job when he's not acting up against anything. He's literally acting to, like, a blue screen or something along those lines, and he does it phenomenally. Like, this is something you expect an adult to perform. You'd never think a kid would be able to do it this well, but he does a great job with it. You got Baloo, of course. Bill Murray does an incredible job. I would never consider Bill Murray for the role of Baloo, but just hearing it and saying it loud, this is perfect casting for Baloo. He does a great job. I think it's Idris Elba who does Shere Khan, and he does a great job. It's so menacing. He either does this or he does it for the Mowgli movie. I'm not really sure, but either way, Idris Elba, whichever movie he's in, does an incredible job of Shere Khan. just the way this movie looks, it really does look like everything is actually there. Especially Baloo, you got Shere Khan, all the actual animals. You got like the wolves, you got Bagheera. They all actually look like they're actually there. Especially with the kid, like you think you'd see a bit of lines around the kid, but there's nothing like that. It's all phenomenal. It looks like it's real. It looks like this kid is actually living in the jungle. And finally, my number one favourite Disney live action remake is Cinderella. I absolutely adore Cinderella. Not only do I adore the animated version, but I also love the live action version. I think Lily James, who also I adore, I love Lily James. I think she does an incredible job Cinderella. Like when I rewatched this a while ago, about a month ago, because I hadn't watched it in years, rewatching, I'm like, is that Lily James? I didn't realise it was her. She does an incredible job Cinderella. Like you just believe her, and just the dress is stunning on her as well. The guy, I don't know his name, but the guy who plays Robb Stark in Game of Thrones, he's a great, I don't know his name, Prince Charming, I don't know the actual guy's name, but it's Prince Charming, but he does a great job as Prince Charming. The evil stepmother and her stepsisters are actually phenomenal, all the characters and everything, and Helen Labarda Carter, I always screw up her name, great as the fairy godmother. She's also in Alice in Wonderland, so it's like they kind of got a stream of, I don't think she's any other ones, but I think she's great in this. She's a lot better in this than she was in Alice in Wonderland. I just adore this movie. It's one that, as well, I don't put it in a lot, but every time I do, I just love it. But as well, like Beauty and the Beast, if I want to watch Cinderella, I kind of do just go for the animated version. But this is like, it's different enough. It kind of modernizes Cinderella a good bit, but I still do prefer the animated version, which says that I probably enjoy the animated version of Cinderella more than all of these movies. That just shows like I like these remakes, but they're not really massive. I'm not really massive fans of the remakes. I would prefer if they just made 4 animated movies a year instead of 4 live action movies. But I really do enjoy the Cinderella movie. So that's my ranking of all the Disney live action movies. Let me know what your ranking is down below. Click subscribe so you can see other Disney rankings and reviews just like this one. And as always, thanks for watching.